Well, hello again and welcome to Shed Talk, my weekly magazine video series looking at the keeping, breeding and showing of cage birds. Well, as you've probably seen, I've just made up another batch of my soft food for another week or just over. This reminds me that somebody on the comments section asked about what seed I feed the budgerigars in particular. So I thought we'd start this episode looking at the two main types of seed that I use in both the cages or both breeding cages, flights, for the budgerigars, and how I go about doing that. It was very short. I did do a full video on seed that I feed the budgerigars some time ago, so if you want to go back and have a look at that, by all means do. But I thought we'd just start by having a quick look at the seed that I use here in the budgerigar room. Thanks for those of you who do comment on the various videos, and I do try and answer them, and if it's something that I think would be more useful to produce to put in one of the episodes, then I will do that. As always, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, why not? Hit the subscribe button now, and of course don't forget to hit the bell for early notifications of every time I upload another video of Shed Talk. Right, we'll begin by talking about seed. So for the budgerigars then, there are two main types of seed that are fed both in the main flights and also in the breeding cages. The first of those is a general seed. I use both the seeds that I use come from Hayes. I've mentioned that before, and that's just because I found the seed, clean. Maybe it's a little bit more expensive, but there's certainly not a lot of dust and the rest of that sort of stuff that you sometimes get in the cheaper seeds. And if you're going to compromise in terms of costs, seed is not one of those areas where you should compromise. I'm on a budget like everybody else, and there's lots of things that I do to try and save the pennies. You've seen the chick hides that I make out of old margarine tubs. Most of my flights are made out of old bits of wood that I've had knocking around. But the seed, you pay for what you get, so I wouldn't compromise in terms of the seed. So like I say, both come from Hayes. The first of them is the one that you can see here, and that is a budgerigar breeders, it's called, and it's, I suppose, mid-range in terms of their price. They do a basic budgie, and they then go right up to some of them slightly more expensive ones. I find this works reasonably well for me, and the way that I do it, and I do this for both seeds, because I don't want to waste any of it. If you're paying that much for seed, you don't want any of it wasted. And we all know budgerigars can be fussy. They will pick out the bits that they enjoy, and they'll put the rest of it all over the place. So both in terms of the main flights and the breeding cages, what I do is I'll fill up from the bag, or rather I'll blow any husks off that seed that's in there. The seed that's left in there, the stuff they haven't eaten, every day will go into a bin that you can, I think I'll show some pictures of it in a bit. When I say a bin, it's a seed bin, not a waste bin. And then until the bag is empty. Once the bag is empty, then I start to fill up directly from the seed bin, and I won't start reusing a new bag until the seed bin is virtually empty, as you can see it is, at the moment. So this is about this stage where I start using a new bag of seed. That way, they can't just pick on their favourites. They have to eat, the seed, particularly as it comes towards the end. And like I say, I do the same for the second seed that I feed, and I feed this in a small dish, and both in terms of, again, in both the flights and the breeding cages, and that's a budgerigar tonic seed. And again, you can see this here once again, it's from Hayes. Again, I do the same thing here. I will empty the old bits that they haven't eaten into a separate container, and then once the bag is empty, they will only get fed from that particular container. So and again, I'll wait until the container is virtually empty before I open a new bag of seed. That way, hopefully I won't be wasting too much of the seed that is too much of the seed that's being used. For blowing the husks off, you know, if I had one of those husk cleaning machines, all the better, but again, you know, budget and all that, so I have to blow it off and then have to sweep it all up afterwards. So I hope that answers the question about the two types of budgerigar seeds that I use. I did do, like I say, I did do a video on feeding a little while ago, and maybe if I get a chance I will post a link across the top of the screen to that particular video, like I say, if I can find it and if I get a chance to do that. Right, well, that's enough on the seed. Main focus this week for me is obviously following up on in here. I'm going to have a quick look at what some of the good news in the budgerigar breeding, but also out in the outside flight with the Fife. And the other thing I've got is at the end of this week I will have a chance to get some of the young birds out to a young bird and barhead competition that's coming up. Unfortunately, cage number 1, which like I say is probably my best young bird, has dropped its tail, so I'm not sure it's going to do very well in there. I am really hoping that its tail will grow back, otherwise it will be no good on the show bench. Anyway, that's what we've got left for, that's what I've got this week. Let's have a look at the good news that's happened in the budgerigar shed. Well, a little bit of good news then in the shed so far anyway, a little bit of good news in the shed, and that's in cage 5, which is behind me, and the first of the 2 eggs that we fostered out from cage number 3. Remember that pair in their first round didn't feed any of the chicks. The first of the chicks in there has literally, whilst I'm filming this, just hatched. You can see it here. You can see that it has, you know, it's just come out of the egg. So I'm really hopeful or praying, should I say, you know, touch wood, that the hen in this box does feed that young chick. So well, at least we've got a chick anyway, haven't we? And I expect the second egg to hatch either tomorrow or the day after. Funnily enough, this one is about a day late. I was expecting it to hatch yesterday, so it's a day late, and that may have been where we moved it, or it may have just been that the hen, after she laid it, didn't actually sit it for the first day. We're still waiting on eggs to hatch in cage number 4, and those are the eggs that we moved from cage number 1, because she was smashing them. I think we've got 3 in there that are full, and there's another one in here that's full. Unfortunately, cage number 1, all the rest of the eggs are clear. So little bit of good news in here. The other thing that I have done is I've now split the pair in cage number 5, and I'm going to move the hen in about another couple of days. I'm just giving her a little rest in the breeding cage, and then we'll get that Lutino out for one more round. I've still got to find him a hen. We'll have a look at that in the next episode. So what about out in the Finch and Fife flight, in see how the Fifes are getting on in Fife from breeder to bench. So here we are out here in the Finch and Fife flight to talk about the Fifes to breeding. You may remember last episode we had just put the nest boxes in, and the nest pans in, and I think we had allowed the old pair, which is what we're calling it, the original pair, my original pair of Fifes, to meet each other, so that opened it up, but we still had the new pair, so the outcross and one of my own birds separated. I'm pleased to say that both hens have built nests, and I don't know if you can just see behind my shoulder that the old hen, call her that, is actually sat at the moment. I have checked that this morning and there wasn't anything in it, so if there's anything in it now, she will have literally just laid. So maybe once I finish filming I'll have a quick look at that. So those seem to be getting on okay. The hen the new hen, she's also built up quite quickly, not quite as nice a nest as the hen in the old hen in the top cage, but she has built up, and as such I've allowed those two to meet each other. I've not seen either of the two pairs, the cock tread the hen at all in either of the two pairs, but I don't think I saw that last time round either, so I'm just hoping that they are compatible. And certainly in turn, we know that the pair in the top cage are definitely compatible, because we got full eggs off them last time. So let's hope that we get full eggs off of the top cage off the old pair, and that we actually get a few full eggs off the bottom pair as well. But so far the Fifes look like they're going reasonably well, and I am a little bit surprised with that, because you may remember over the last few episodes I've been talking about the weather here not being particularly nice. Well, the weather finally beat my garden fence, and I had to get some people in over the last couple of days to repair the fence that runs directly behind this shed, and of course they were, you know, knocking the old fence down, or certainly removing the old fence, re-drilling and putting the new fence up, and then drilling it to make sure that it all fit together okay, and rehanging a new gate. So with that in mind, I was a bit worried that it would upset the Fifes, but it doesn't seem to have done. They all seem to still be quite settled. So here's hoping then that we get that the Fifes continue to go well. I hope you enjoyed that short look out there at the Finch and Fife flight and Fife from breeding to bench. Good news, more good news. What an episode, eh? Good news after good news. So good news is, as you can probably see from this short clip here, we have eggs in the top cage. So the hen was sat tight. She had laid. I must admit I looked in the nest this morning and I couldn't see any eggs. When I took the nest out, there were 2 eggs in there, so one of those I'm guessing was laid yesterday, and one this morning after I checked them this morning. Those eggs have now been removed and have been replaced with little blue dummy eggs. So I'm going to wait until the last of the clutch has been laid, and then I will pop them all back in. From last year, I remember the last egg tends to be a slightly more bluey colour, so I'm hoping I can pick that up when I look at them compared with the first ones that have been laid. Anyway, so an episode of good news. We've got new life in the budgie shed in box number 5, and we've got eggs laid out in the 5 breeding cages, obviously not candled yet. We need to wait until she sat them for a few days, so once I put them back we'll candle them, but we have eggs, which is always a good sign. Anyway, great news. So ups and downs, don't we have them? Well, there were 3 or 4 episodes of nothing but bad news, and now suddenly we're all happy again. How these birds keep us on our toes. I think this was a slightly shorter episode than usual. I had been really busy this week, not only with trying to organise the builders out there, but there are a number of other things that have been going on that I've had to deal with. So it is a slightly shorter episode than usual. I'm hoping in the next episode we'll be back up to that full sort of 20-30 minutes episode, and we should have some shots of the Oxford 1910 young bird and barhead show. But until then, as always, do stay safe, enjoy your birds.